Welcome back to part 2 of our computer careers PowerPoint that we're working on. We're kind of learning about computer careers and learning how to use our slide master in a PowerPoint. And our first slide that we're going to do after the title is going to be for computer engineering. And I think if I go back to PowerPoint, I think I typed that in. Now you can copy and paste stuff. Like you could go here and copy and paste stuff. So if you don't feel like typing any of it, you could copy this. Just you have to watch if it's a link. But I'm going to copy that. You could do Control-C on Windows or Command-C on Mac. And I'll go back here, and I'm just going to paste it here. And I could highlight over here, or just click in there and just paste it. Now, if something looks odd, you think, why did it do that? What you want to do here is just go here and use Keep Text Only. And on Windows, it's going to be the third icon. It doesn't show you text. It's going to have a little icon for Keep Text Only, but it's going to be the third one. So on a Mac, it's this one, but it's always the one on the far right. And what that does is strips any formatting that you might have copied from the website. So make sure you use Keep Text Only. And what might have happened here, if you see that cursor, I'm just going to backspace. I probably highlighted a return character, so I'm just going to backspace. And that's all I want. And then for here, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to type description. And that's going to be the same on every slide. So I'll just type description. I'll do that. And then, this is important, I'll hit return. Now, if I type something again, it would be in the same style that I just did as description. And what I want to do, I don't want to put it in a bullet list, because if you remember, we already have our list set up. All that you have to do is just go up here to this button and increase list level. That'll put it into the one that has the green box on it, the box-looking bullet. So that will put it in its list level already. So you don't have to be making things a bullet list here. Please do not do that. That's overdoing the work or redoing the work that you already did. And it's just going to make it more confusing. So all that you have to do when you work in here, you don't have to do any bulleting or anything like that. You just have to increase or decrease list level. Now I can't decrease because I'm at the top level. So I'm going to increase. And then what I'm going to do is, like, if you started typing here, you'd get that green box. Now, I'm not going to type anything. What I'm going to do is I'm going to copy it. And I'm just going to go up here and look for just real basic stuff. I'm going to go up here and look for real basic stuff that would be good for my PowerPoint. Not anything. I don't want to have every detail in my PowerPoint. This is just for our reference. So I'm actually going to, and it'll give you a chance to read it a little. So I'm going to just do this part here about computer engineers. And I'm just going to copy that, and I'll put a period at the end. They have a couple dots there. And I'm just going to copy it, and I'll go back, and I'll just highlight over the jumble I put in here, and I'll paste it. Now this is a little bigger because I had made the font a little bigger when I did that. And you also probably every time go back to Keep Text Only. That'll strip out any formatting. So I'm going to put computer engineers, and I'll do that. And typically with a bullet list, you probably want 1 or 2 bullets. So I'm going to hit return and do a second bullet here and see if I could just find another line. They need to understand computer programming, as they are the ones who design the hardware that runs the program. Actually, I'm going to highlight this whole thing because this might be easier. And then I'm going to go back to PowerPoint and I'm going to paste this in. Now when you paste it in, they need to understand. And actually, I think what I can do here is just do that. They need to understand computer programming, but in general their work is more focused on the hardware itself. That kind of says what they do. And what I'm going to do here now, I'm running out of space a little, and what happens sometimes with PowerPoint is they have these boxes set up to auto fit, and it'll start to make text smaller if you have too much text that's going to fit in this box. So I might actually make the box, I'll just go in here, make it a little bigger for now. And we can talk about that with PowerPoint later, but just be aware that it does that. And I'm going to go after here, and I'm going to hit return. And it's in the same style, so I'm going to increase list level. Now it didn't move, but I'm going to put typical careers. And I could put a colon, and I'll hit return, and then I'll increase list level again, and it starts doing a number. And then what am I going to put in there? Well, I'll go here and I'll scroll down. You can check out this really nice looking graph here. It's very helpful. I'm being sarcastic. And you're going to go down here, and there's only one typical career, but you could still copy it if you want. So I'm going to copy it. Now it is a link, so when you paste it, it's going to look like a link. So I'll go back to PowerPoint, and I'll paste it. And you can see it looks like a link, so just make sure you say Keep Text Only. It may have a return in there, as why it's showing a number 2. So I'll just backspace so it goes back, because that's all I need. And then one thing I'm going to do in here, and I don't think I had this on the original instructions, but I may have to change it. They have more space in here, and that's going to be a little bit of a problem. So what I'm going to do and this will be good to kind of show you, is I'm going to go back to View, and I'm going to go back to Slide Master, and make sure you're on your top slide. And I'm going to go in here and highlight my 4th level, and then I'm going to go to my Home tab, and I'm going to open up the paragraph. Now on Windows, you'll have a little block here that'll open up these paragraph settings. On Mac, you don't. You have to use this thing, this line spacing thing. Open that up and go to line spacing options. So again, if you're on Windows, you'll have a little options button to open up. But on Mac, you're going to use this and just open up this. But they should look like this. And what the reason I'm opening this up is I'm just going to reduce this spacing. It's 10 point space before, and I'll just take it down. Even 4 is probably fine like that. And that'll just kind of tighten our space a little bit. I don't need all that extra space. If it says third, my 3rd level, I don't need all this space in there. So I'll just reduce that down to 4. And I'll hit OK. And you can see what that does. It pulls it up. And then every time I hit return with these number things, if there's more than one number, there'll be a little less space in there, and it'll tighten things up a little. It'll give us more room. Now that I did that, I have to go to Slide Master and make sure I close Slide Master. That will basically save the changes that I just made. And then I'll go here, and you can see it's a little tighter. And that's good. That's exactly what I want. So that's all I need for the first slide. That's perfect. And to make my second slide, I don't know if I have to do all these. I think you'll get the idea of what I'm doing once I do my second slide. But what you can do is you can right-click and duplicate that slide, because there's no need to go back and start from scratch, because now you have all your lists here. And I'm going to do one more slide. And my next one, if I go look at the website, and I can hit this little arrow here, the next one was called Computer Science. So you could copy Computer Science. And I'll copy this and try not to get to return. And I'll go back to PowerPoint. Again, I'm on my new slide here, and I'll just paste that in. And we'll see if I put in a return or not. And I didn't put in a return, but you can see it changed the font. So make sure you use text only. And it goes back in our Georgia bold. And description I could leave alone. And then I'm also going to go here and just read this a little. Take some time and read it. Computer science spans a wide range of topics. There's this whole kind of detailed description here, but we'll copy that and we'll put it in, and we'll put it in as our first bullet here. Now if it pulls the other paragraph up there, it just means that you probably highlighted over the return, so just hit enter or return again. And that's how this one ends here. So computer science spans a wide range of topics from its theory. It's a little wordy, but that's fine. That's what they have in there. And then I'll see if I could get another smaller one to kind of add at the end. And I'm actually going to read that. See, you could actually read it and make some sense of it. And I'm actually going to copy this and then just adjust it a little. So I'll copy this line, and I'll go back, and I'll put it here, and I'll paste it. And I guess I'll leave it. Sorry, computer scientists are more concerned with, and I'll just put through algorithms, because they kind of use concerned with understanding what problems can be solved. And maybe I won't worry about efficiency. I'll just put through the use of algorithms, because they mention that in, hopefully I have that spelled right. And that kind of gets to the point, and that's all I want to do, is just get to the point a little bit. And if I'm running, I could bring it up a little bit, because I may need some extra space here. So I'm going to look for computer science careers. And down here they just have 2, software developer and computer research scientist for typical careers. And I'll go back and I'll just paste them here. And again, I'll have to do the text only to take it out of that formatting that gets pasted in. And that's exactly what I want. So if anything happened, it wasn't in the right, if this thing wasn't in the right, like if it looked like this or something, you would just have to make sure you increase the list level and make sure that's the next list level. Because remember, this is the first, this is the second, this is the third, and this is the 4th level. And that's pretty much it. This is what you're going to really want to do basically with this website. There's computer science is the second one, which is your 3rd slide. For your next slide, you're going to do software engineering. And for your next slide, you're going to do, I think it's information technology. And for your next slide, you're going to do information systems. And your job is to really go in and pick out a line or two that really describes this a little bit better. So not only are you doing a PowerPoint, but you're actually kind of pulling out the important information from your reading, and hopefully it'll make the reading a little more interesting than you're just pulling out the important things. And that's what you want to do anyway. You could certainly read it in more detail if this is an area you're going into or anything like that, but just pull out something that's very specific to information systems that kind of makes sense, that makes sense to you and might make sense to anybody else, so that you have a nice simple PowerPoint that really gets to the point. So if you ever forget any of this stuff, this kind of says it. Like I said, this is a little wordy here, and you could always go in and chop it out. Use the less is more principle. So you could clean things up and just get to the point a little bit, but we just want a description with 1 or 2 bullet points. Maybe only 1 bullet point is fine. And typical careers, I think one of them has like 4. So there's going to be information technology, information science, and I think there's another one in there that I might have missed. I think there's going to be 5. You're going to have 5 additional slides plus the 1, so you'll have 6 altogether. So that's all you have to do. And if you need to make any changes to anything, if something's too big or something's too small, this is 24 point here. Maybe we might want to have that 22 or something. Don't do it here. Don't highlight this, because then you'd have to do it on every slide. What you'd want to do is go to View and go to Slide Master, which is here, and go to your top thumbnail, and then you'd actually highlight in here and go to Home. And when you're on just that one, it doesn't say plus. That was when we had them all highlighted. And maybe you just want to make it 22 and just make it a little bit smaller. And then to get out of there, you go back to the Slide Master tab and hit Close. And what's going to happen is all your slides, that text is going to be a little bit smaller, and it'll probably give you a little bit more room. And you could put graphics in here if you wanted to, but for now, all we want to do is just have our 6 slides all together. So you're going to have to put together a 6-slide PowerPoint. You're going to want to save it. So I'll just save this as, and I think for this semester, and where if you're doing this at home or doing it in class, whatever you're doing, I'm going to go in here to csc103-C1. I'll just throw out notes right now, but what this is going to be, you're going to call this 8 because it's exercise 8, at least this semester, and just call it Comp Careers. And you could put PPT for PowerPoint, and then you could just put your last name, first initial. On Mac, it'll save with the PPTX. On Windows, you will not see that typically by default. And I'm just going to save that, and then when it's time to upload that, you're going to go back to your course, but what you're going to do is you're going to find that exercise, Computer Careers, and you're going to upload the file. And it looks like I didn't upload it, so I could go through doing that. So I can upload the file. I could choose File. I can upload again. I could go find it, which I put it in my notes, and there it is. So this is the one I just did, and there it is. So I'm going to insert it, and then I'm going to add it, and then I'm going to turn it in. And that's all you got to do. Make sure you hit that turn it in button. And then eventually we'll put these on some kind of PowerPoint slide sharing site so that you don't have to download the PowerPoint to look at it, so that you have it online from anywhere, anytime you want to look at it. So I'll show you how to do that too. But for now, that's the end of this exercise as far as doing our Computer Careers PowerPoint, learning a little bit about using the Slide Master and PowerPoint, and putting together like a little PowerPoint of briefer notes from our reading in here that tend to get a little bit longer. So if you get a chance to do that, there is instructions, and I'll update any instructions if I have to.